Our panelists are going to be joining me on stage. They're Blaze King, who is the Director of Workforce Innovation at Accelerate Mississippi, Jacqueline Jones, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer for Amplify Cell Technologies, a new company that's being opened in Marshall County, and then Laura Lorhorn, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer for C-Spire. So again, we're very happy to have y'all with us this morning. This workforce, training the workforce is a very important topic without question. So we're very happy to have you here. So as we get into this, I want you to tell me a little bit about kind of what you do with your organization, but more importantly, kind of where you see us going. So I'm gonna start with you. Y'all lined up just right. How about that? I'm gonna start with you. Accelerate Mississippi just recently has created what is called the Talent Solutions Program to help us really kind of focus on how we, the state approaches workforce alignment and training, a lot of times with newer companies that are coming in and others. Why is this so important to make sure we're hitting our emerging needs?
So I think it's really fun to see because we're in a place where things are good. Economy's growing. We've a lot of economic development projects that are happening, which is increasing the demand. We've got a lot more need for workers. There's a capacity issue where we've got to expand the number of people that are able to go to work. Shortly after Dr. Taylor became the executive director, she brought on a gentleman named Trey Smith to lead our talent solutions team. Really excited about the work that they're doing. We've identified and know that we need about 19,000 additional workers by 2035. That's a large number, and I would say 2035 may be a little bit far out. It may be even sooner than that as we look at all of the projects that are being won. And so trying to find a way to meet the demand, which comes along with expanding capacity. We're excited for talent solution centers to come online where we're able to really meet the needs by being flexible and adaptable based off of what the industry needs in the moment, because we know that industry's changing as well. They've got different needs that are going to shift based off of what's happening in their space, and we want to be able to be flexible, adaptable, work with our training providers and really fill the demand that is there in the moment.
And filling that demand is important, but also I think knowledge of what's out there is also important, which is where the Career Coach program, which is one of your responsibilities in your role as the Director of Workforce Innovation at Accelerate. Career Coaches are really designed to help businesses work within the local school system to understand what opportunities exist right there at home. What are some recent examples of where this collaboration can really work? What we talked about with Work Future Institution is collaborating businesses with the education side of things when it comes to training. What are some things that are happening right now that are making a difference?
Yeah, really excited to see how all of the things that were said about Work Future Institute and how that can tie into what the career coaches are doing. So we've got a few examples. One most recently is with ADP out of Hattiesburg, and what they're doing, they're offering essentially an externship where we have the opportunity for our career coaches to go spend time in the field, in the business and industry, and really understand what it looks like so that they can communicate a clear message back to the students to understand what opportunities are out there, breaking down that communication barrier. We've got opportunities across the state that are happening. A couple Nissan, Milwaukee Tool, we're doing some work with Amplify where the career coaches are identifying students and actually placing them in internships, work-based learning opportunities, and we're also looking at tracking what those interactions look like so we can determine where are our points that we need to improve, where's the communication and the messaging need to improve so that we can really impact the students as they move forward to make sure that they're informed and going into a field that's going to make a difference for them, their families, and for Mississippi.
And I think that having them informed is key. And Jacqueline, you're going to be doing what a lot of people probably don't look forward to, and that's trying to find those people as Amplify gets up running. And that's probably sometimes a difficult job, so you have to have those partnerships. But as that new employer who's investing in Mississippi, how critical was the state's involvement in this workforce alignment effort to the decision to locate here in Mississippi and kind of what's ahead?
Absolutely. Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. Our relationship with the state workforce has been and continues to be really critical as we continue on this journey. So just a little bit about Amplify Cell Technologies. I'm sure everyone is probably familiar with the passenger electric vehicles. We are actually going to be producing batteries for the commercial electric vehicles. So think about 18-wheelers, buses, heavy-duty trucks, medium-duty trucks. We're going to be making the lithium batteries that will go into those vehicles. So as we were looking at where we were going to locate our manufacturing plant, Amplify Cell Technologies, and we're building, in the process of building a 1.5 million square foot plant, or actually 2.5 million square foot plant. So this is going to be a humongous plant. We're investing $2 billion into this plant, into this facility, and we're going to hire over 2,000 employees over the next few years. So as we were thinking about where to put this large plant that's going to hire 2,000 employees, we looked at 3 different criteria, and the state of Mississippi stepped up in all of those areas. So the first thing we looked at is there land available? We're not only building this 2.5 million square feet plant, but we're looking to build 1 or 2 more plants that size and hire 2,000 employees, 2,000 employees, 2,000 employees. So the land was the first thing we looked at. Absolutely, yes, the land is there. The second thing we looked at is it's no good to have a plant if you don't have the people to work in the plant. So we also looked at, are there people in a reasonable distance that we're going to be able to employ in the plant? The answer was yes to that. And then the third area we looked at is what training would be available. Because lithium manufacturing, this is an emerging market. There's not a lot of people with that skill set. So we knew we would need training dollars. The state of Mississippi has definitely stepped up. We're not only training our employees, we're working with Northwest Community College, we're working with Ole Miss, Mississippi State, we're working with the high schools, we're working with the communities to build different types of training programs, internships, externships, apprenticeship programs, classes at the university, so that we can make sure that we get the students trained where they can come to work for Amplify or other companies in the area.
So that partnership exists, which is so important. So as you go into this, talk about what are some of the specific skills and training pipelines that you need to see to be able to ramp up successfully? Great question.
So the first skill we look for is manufacturing experience. It's great if you've got some manufacturing experience, if you've got battery experience, if you've got advanced manufacturing experience, technology, robotics. We look for all of those skills. We know that it's going to be challenging to find all of the employees with those skills. So we're also looking at how do we train high school students with the skills that we need. So 60% of our 2,000 employees will come from high schools. They're going to come in making $25 to $30 per hour. So 1,200 of the 2,000 employees we're going to hire will come right out of high school. So that's the reason we're working closely with the high schools to develop those training programs. We're working closely with the CTE teachers, and the one thing that we would ask of you to help us with is make sure that you are putting programs in place to train high school students on some of the soft skills. They may not come in with the technical skills, but making sure that they understand how to have difficult conversations, how to work in teams, come into work on time, how to have powerful conversations, how to express yourself. We're looking and working with the schools to help us develop those skills with the high school students.
Well, those, without question, that's where it all starts. It has to be everybody working together to be successful. Now Lauren, while Jacqueline is trying to ramp up with employees, C Spire has been a part of Mississippi's landscape for a long, long time, but technology changes constantly. So that means you have to think about how do you change your workforce. I mean, talk a little bit about kind of to make sure that you're continuing to find the employees that you need and the workforce that you need at C Spire. What are y'all doing to make sure that y'all are really kind of focused on that approach to helping them and the communities around them?
Sure. Is this on? Yeah, good. So that's a big question. We are very focused right now, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I'm saying this for the first time this morning. Very focused on AI and making sure our teams are bought in and using AI. If a workforce is not using AI, it'll quickly become a skills gap. So we are lucky, very fortunate at C Spire to have a team who is very bought in on using it and using it safely and ethically. We've put a lot of initiatives in place to train our team on how to use AI. We have an AI Center of Excellence that is looking at internal and external use cases. They've already seen tremendous success in the efficiencies that they have found, hours saved, which equals dollars saved, improvements to customer service. We're doing a lot there. So that's something we are incredibly focused on. With AI coming to town, I will echo what Jacqueline said. What has been called soft skills in the past have become incredibly essential because frankly an AI agent can't do those things. And so we mere mortals need to lean in on the things that we can't get from AI. So the communication skills, the collaboration skills, critical thinking and problem solving. We are doing a lot to try to make sure our team doesn't develop a skills gap there, with mentorship programs, with manager boot camp programs, those kind of things. We're also very focused on and have a hard time finding, frankly, product development skills. It is my hope that as AI, really starts to take over and change our jobs, it will create time. Notice I said it creates time, doesn't take positions. Creates time for our team members to have time to be creative and innovate, and you'll see those types of skills, those product development type skills, really blossom. We also have kind of a difficult time finding software development skills. That's long been an issue for us, and we've done a lot of things in that space to try to rectify that. Fiber-related skills are still incredibly important for us. Fiber splicers, field technicians, that kind of thing. So I would say the way we're taking care of all of these is building really robust internal learning and development programs that creates a culture of learning and creates an environment where people want to develop these skills, but then also partnering with the schools, as Jacqueline has mentioned.
Well, that's kind of what my next question was going to be. I mean, the history of C Spire, y'all have been a tremendous corporate citizen and partner with it in communities and helping them do things. How does this really work as it relates to workforce with not just the K-12 system, but community colleges, universities? What are some of the things that y'all are doing with those partners that you just mentioned to really build that workforce?
Yeah, those partnerships are critical. As many of you know, C Spire has invested heavily in the last few years in computer science education. Most notably, we lobbied the legislators to require computer science to be taught in all schools, and then of course our foundation donated $1 million for teacher training. We did that because we believed it was necessary for not only Mississippi's workforce, but selfishly C Spire's workforce. So that has paid dividends already. We have a long-standing relationship with the Base Camp Coding Academy in Water Valley that has trained hundreds of people to be software developers. And when they finish that academy, they come to our 12-week internship program in the summer, and it often leads to a full-time junior software developer job. Our internship is another really good example of our partnership with the area schools. We are able to find incredible talent at our state colleges. So this past summer we had 3,800 applications to our internship. We chose 25, so you can do the math there. We really got the cream of the crop, and just had an incredible summer helping those students really put their skills to work, what they've learned in the classroom, and see it in the real world. This year we already have over 500 applications, so that's been a great thing. We have an on-campus Oxford office that has allowed for part-time employment for students at Ole Miss. That's been great. And then we are also partnering with community colleges like you are, namely Holmes Community College has been a great partner to us with the technical skills that we're looking for. So those partnerships are critical to our workforce development.
Well, without question, that's all about what this is about. I'm going to just kind of throw this out and kind of let y'all, but we have students that are trying to figure out where to go. We have adults that maybe are looking at wanting to upskill or reskill. How can we help y'all understand and communicate to them what are some clear pathways to these opportunities?
So I think from our perspective, it comes down to really two things. You mentioned communication. I think communication is big. What does the advertisement look like that tells the individual what that path is? And then I think the other thing is skills recognition. Identifying the skills that are needed within your business and industry. It says if you can obtain these skills, along with those durable soft skills that are there, if you can obtain those things, this is your path to move up to a better wage, a better position, whatever it may be. So the communication and identifying the skills that are needed to move into that role, I think is one area that we see can make those opportunities available.
Yeah, I agree with what Blaze has said, and I would just add also, we are making sure that we get out in the community and do road shows, do marketing and advertising, so that parents and students know what Amplify has to offer. And then one of the other things that we're making sure that we do for students and parents is to attend those events in school that we know parents are at, that they're there to see their students, so we can hit the students and the parents at the same time and advertise, communicate job fairs and those types of things as well.
I would add to all of that, both very good answers, start early. We've got to help our high schoolers understand that a technical career is very attractive and that these skills are in high demand. So we need to be investing and promoting these technical career pathways. We at C Spire this year have launched our high school externship called Liftoff. We have partnered with Jackson metro area high schools to bring in juniors and senior students to work in our creative, business, and tech sectors of our company. We had 60 applicants. I believe we've chosen 12 students to start in this program. Y'all, that group of students has an average of 3.92 GPA and over a 30 ACT score. So that shows you the talent is here. We just have to get to them early and give them a reason to want to stay in Mississippi.
And y'all touched on this a minute ago. Technology's changing everything. This, again, is kind of an open question to each of y'all as it relates to technology and making sure we're upskilling and reskilling, how the role AI plays. I'm going to just kind of throw it out to, again, everybody. How are you making those adjustments so that we're really having the types of skills necessary to be successful? We'll come back down the line. We'll start with you, Lauren, and come back this way.
Sure.
So.
We're expecting it. We're demanding it of our workforce. You know, it's no longer an option whether to use AI, and again, in a safe manner. And we have provided good, best-in-class systems and tools for our workforce to use, namely Microsoft Copilot, to make sure it's safe. But we also have invested in best-in-class systems in general. Workday, I'll use the HR system as a guinea pig. It has transformed how we recruit, train, and retain our talent. You know, from day one of a job posting through the application process, it makes it a seamless process for the candidate, for the hiring manager, and then for our employees, they use it for training and development. You know, they have at their fingertips 24/7 access to hundreds of courses that we've created either internally or gotten from a content catalog externally. So it's created, or we're trying to create, this culture of learning for them that really promotes and makes them want to upskill and learn new skills.
I would just add that, just as Lauren has said, it's important for employees to come into the organization using these platforms, the technology platforms. We especially are focusing on the collaboration platforms, so Copilot, Teams, Microsoft Office in general. Again, we're expecting employees to come in with those skills, and if they don't come in with those skills, we've invested extensively, especially as it relates to AI, in making sure that our employees are trained, they know how to use the technology, because using this technology is really all about helping our employees to be more productive. So it's in the best interest of our organization to upskill, train our employees if they don't have those skills. Again, so that we can be the most productive workforce we can possibly be.
So I think from our perspective, we look at integration, right? So as we look to fund and to support training opportunities with our training providers, and we look at those high-value pathways that are going to lead to success, is how are we integrating technology within that so that it's not a standalone. We need individuals that have the skills, but they've got to have the technology and the capability to function in a technological space while having those technical skills as well. Whether it be, I think one great example, we had a gentleman that runs an electrical company. We said, what's the number one thing you look for in an electrician? And he said, fluency in AI. That trade labor that we don't think about, that was the number one skill he's looking for as he goes to hire someone. So it's laying those technical skills with AI, with computer, with the soft skills on top of those trades as well.
All right, we got just a couple of minutes. I'm going to ask one question. Now I'm asking for advice. Y'all just heard me talk about the Work Future Institute that has been created, and our goal behind that is helping drive a stronger workforce. If you could identify one thing that the state, and what we will be doing to help with the Institute, must do in the next 3 years to ensure our workforce stays aligned with what businesses need, what would that one thing be?
So I'll go first. For me, it's really, in our company, it's really about getting involved in polytechnics. I mean, that's kind of new terminology, but it's making sure that the workforce, making sure that students are developing the skills that we need in the workplace. It's not just going through college just for the sake of getting a degree. It's making that college experience more meaningful. It's connecting with industry, understanding what we need for employees to come in terms of the skill set, and then helping to develop them as quickly as possible so that they can come in and be productive from day one.
You made this difficult by saying one thing. So
You've seen the work on Work Future. There's a lot of things listed, but we need to know where to start.
So I think there are a couple of things that can fall under this, but for us, I think where we look at is really breaking down silos. Within that's the communication from K-12 to community college to IHL to the business and industry. It's understanding that we're all moving toward the same goal. We don't need to be pulling in different directions. We've got the same common goal. And then it's looking at data, not being afraid of what the data says, understanding how we're going to take the data, what it means, and make actionable steps off of that. I think all of that goes into this breaking down of silos so that we are working for a better Mississippi, for not only the whole state, but for the individuals within the state and how we can support them.
All right, I'll round us out. The one thing I think Mississippi needs to do is really promote, incentivize, expand, all the words, technical training pathways, and move away, shift from those traditional notions of what workforce readiness is to a more skills-based approach.
Well, every one of those that y'all just said, I think goes right along with the alignment of the training matching the job. When I talked about Work Future a few minutes ago, I said it's matching learning to earning. It's that education to employment that matters. So as we go through this process, we're going to continue to focus on these things, which y'all have helped us understand today is valuable, and we'll continue to do this as we go forward. But I really look forward to the opportunity to continue this conversation, both individually and collectively with the groups, to how we make this happen, because there's only one way it will work, and that's if we're working together. So let's please give our panelists a round of applause. Thank them for all they're doing to help Mississippians succeed, and we're very excited.